Yo, I'm Toycat, and good news everybody, 1.20.60 is now officially available for all Minecraft Bedrock platforms. This is not a major update like 1.21, but it's also not a tiny bug fix either. Instead, this is a minor monthly update, and included are bug fixes, although the most important bug fix of the year I would argue, but also buffs to some features, massive changes to others, and nerfs that you might not have expected. So let's talk about the 23 major changes that 1.20.60 will make to how you play Minecraft, as well as the way that it technically includes the trial chambers, because there are some weird 1.21 features mixed in there. But first things first, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you do like this new area of content we're currently working on. It's something that does take a lot more time and effort, but hopefully you do appreciate it. Just like how you'll hopefully appreciate that when you mine lapis lazuli, you'll now get more lapis. If you have a regular pickaxe, i.e. just an iron, diamond, netherite pickaxe of no enchantments, you'll now get up to 9 lapis lazuli per mine. In this case, we go, oh, all 9 of it. Perfect example. Whereas if you have fortune free, you can now get up to 36. Obviously, this is a random amount that happens between two numbers. However, it still does mean that if you mine a fortune, the maximum amount of lapis you can get has now increased, which means the average amount has too. This is also true for regular pickaxe. It's just more increased for a fortune one, which is really, really nice because fortune has another little buff that I'll mention after we go into this block right here. Do you know what this block is called, or this item is called rather? It's one of Minecraft's weirdest items, and honestly, I didn't know too much about it in the real world, as many people didn't. However, this is the scute, or as we should now say, because it's 1.20.60, it is the turtle scute. This is to differentiate it from the upcoming armadillo scute, and a scute is basically just a piece of shell or hard armor that kind of falls off and can be used to craft either a helmet or armor for your dog, depending on which animal it comes from. It is a very, very weird part of Minecraft that they are leaning into, and I can't really fault them, but I also can't fault them for increasing the amount of nether gold nuggets you get when you go mining for this particular ore. This is a really big increase, percentage speaking at least, because now nether gold will give you up to 6 nuggets. That is a 20% increase, but also if you mine it with fortune, instead of getting up to 20 before, you can now get up to 24. Another 20% increase, which means that now the maths on whether you should use fortune or silk touch is not as clear cut as always use silk touch, but instead there is actually an argument for going into the nether and mining with fortune, potentially even above doing it in the overworld, unless you're in a mesa biome of course, which means that yeah, it's really fun. You can go mining for nether gold, and this is a valid strategy now, something I really love, but I'm gonna put it all away because I don't need it in this particular moment. Just like how you might not need to use the calibrated sculk sensor, but you might really appreciate the fact that now when you break a block, any of the ice and snow blocks, it will give the same max strength of 12. Just to show you, here's me breaking top snow right there. As you can see, as you would have seen, it would actually give a full 12 signal, just like that. And the same is true for packed ice, the same is true for regular ice. And yeah, this is a fun little change that has now happened if you haven't already sent a walking signal to it. So I'll mine that block, and then I'll mine this block, and as long as we wait a little bit, there we go. You can see that mining all of the snow and ice blocks now gives you a full signal strength thing, which, let's be honest, like if you're not a redstone user, you might not care about that, but you'll definitely care about this next feature, because everyone is familiar with the fact that you can place slabs and stairs on the top or bottom half of a block by choosing, or rather upside down or on the top half of a block, by choosing which half you place it on. Here is a bottom half slab, and here is a top half slab. Here is a regular staircase, and here is an upside down staircase. And yeah, this is obviously since 1.3, but now they've made a cool quality of life change to Bedrock, which is if you start placing on one half and then you continue to hold the place button, it will stick to your same type of placement, even if that means that you're placing on the top half. This is a really cool change in my opinion, because let's be honest, when you're placing in a row, you can see how it literally flips while you're doing it. Can we slow-mo that? Wow, look at that. But interestingly, you can see that this is a quality of life change that doesn't make sense, but will match how you're actually playing, because if you're trying to place top half slabs, you might accidentally mess up on the block placement, and so it's nice to hear that Minecraft has got you and will just allow you to continue placing that way. Also, it's true for slabs, but I think this is a great feature in general. I'm glad that they've made it, and it's a great way to, I think it's good for console and controller players, but it's really good for everyone who's placing a lot of blocks. Making bigger projects is great, and I love that Minecraft are supporting that, but what I love way more are that Minecraft have finally fixed the trail ruins, because the bottom of trail ruins are no longer detached from the top. This is crazy to say the least, right? Because this is what the ruins used to be like. You have to go so far down from the main structure, but now they look like this. As you can see, this is a trail ruins. I'm going into it, and there's not a huge detachment. If you play Java and you're watching this video, first of all, thank you. I'm glad you're learning about the Bedrock version of the game. It's important, I think, for people to be informed about the other versions of Minecraft. But secondly, did you know on Bedrock, for so long, the trail ruins have just been cut in half. Now they will match the Java edition, both in how they exist, but also how they're placed. This is the first structure to have parity on where they generate on a given seed, which is a very big deal if you ask me. Speaking of big deals, let's come back to our Woodland Mansion of Minecraft features to talk about an interesting, bug that has existed with top snow layers. If you go into default terrain generation, it won't ever snow log things. This is a Bedrock feature where you can have snow underneath, say, a flower, and this is how it would generate. You'd have random green patches. It would be very, very ugly when you had a snowy taiga, but now it will snow log those blocks, which means that snowy biomes will look just a tiny bit more realistic. Also, I'm sorry it's dark here, but the snow is melting. You know, a very real and true problem, which is why they've got these lovely Neverwarp blocks instead of redstone blocks. It's impressive how similar they look, right? Like, at a glance, it looks like this is an unpowered redstone block and this is a powered one, but obviously the redstone block is the power, just like how you might have felt you had the power to do insane things with the previous enchantment books. Oh, look at that. They're at Toycat here. You know, Harrison and Ash done a really good job on this world, by the way. I think this is an important part of you being able to show off updates better. Having everything summarized in one place might be handy, and it also might be handy to you to know that Silk Touch books will no longer work as Silk Touch. You can't break a beehive or a bee nest with Silk Touch and expect to get it back. The way this works, by the way, is you can get a... Oh, no, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have angered the guy here. The way it works is you can get a beehive back. You're not just... You can die. Sorry about that, friend. But you will get a beehive back, but it won't keep the bee inside as if it would if you had a Silk Touch axe, which obviously I can't use now because I just murdered the bee, but you get the point. Also, this is true for Fortune. It used to be before 1.2060 that if you used Fortune on potatoes or carrots or melons or sweet berries or neverworts or sunflowers or lilacs or rose bushes or peonies or glowstone or gravel, that you would get the Fortune benefit, which is kind of wild when you think about it. Now, if you use a enchanted book to mine, it doesn't have the enchantment built into the book. It just tells you about the enchantment the book would have if you were to use it for something. And so now we have one other enchantment change, which is to do with a Silk Touch pickaxe. Like I said, Silk Touch is technically slightly less useful in this update, but Frosted Ice no longer converts to water when Silk Touch mines. So if you mine, you expect to be able to get some Frosted Ice, but instead if you mine a Frosted Ice with your pickaxe, it just turns into nothing, which is a great way to get rid of it, technically. Speaking of great way to get rid of things, campfires now drop 2 charcoal instead of 4. This used to be one of the best ways to make charcoal, and now it is one of the more acceptable ways to make charcoal. This is a big nerf for super flat, keep that in mind, but it is probably decent game balance. Speaking of decent game balance, let's move on to the Zoglins. They will now despawn in peaceful mode. So here are some Zoglins. As you can see, they're very mad, but they don't get to be mad because they don't exist anymore. And yeah, we'll come back to easy, but they won't reappear. Important tip, by the way. We're now going to turn around and talk about the next couple of features. So one of them is that Suspicious Stew can now be consumed when hunger is full. As you can see, I've got full hunger right now. I wonder how, but I've got full hunger and I'm gonna eat Suspicious Stew anyway and get the blindness effect. Wow, can't believe that's the effect I got. I also can't believe that Wither Roses will now deal damage 4 times as often to match up with everything else in Minecraft. This makes sense, but it also means that Wither Roses can hurt people a lot more. Speaking of hurting people more, it might hurt you to learn that beds and job site blocks can no longer have more than 1 villager assigned to them at one time. However, they seemingly don't always link to the closest job site. Okay, what? One sec. This is something that's important to me. I need to say right here, right now, this is Minecraft's most frustrating feature. If there was one thing that they could fix, if there was one thing above everything else that they could fix, it should be this. There should be some consistent logic in how villagers choose a job site. It is so essential for everything to do with villagers that they have a job site, but no one knows on Bedrock how they properly link. Everyone has theories, but none of these theories actually hold up to reality. Please, Minecraft, I am begging you. Speaking of things I'm begging Minecraft to do, I think for a while now, one of the issues that PC Bedrock in particular has had is that if you, by the way, I'm just going to stay here in the corner of the video, hope you don't mind, hope you're having a good day. I am. There's a lot of cool new Minecraft features, including some really big fixes. I'm excited about this because, for example, if you go to leave the game, this is really PC specific, if I leave and I just left my mouse hovering over save and quit, or even just hovered over it and then went back to my browser and then I start looking up like, oh, who's built a cool cat in Minecraft, and then I come back to the game, when I clicked the game, it would automatically assume I wanted to save and quit because it was the last highlighted button. That was insanity, and I'm so glad they fixed it. If you're a PC player and you frequently minimize Minecraft to look things up, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a very, very, very narrow use case scenario, but also a narrow use case scenario is that loading screens will display tips based on player progression of the current world being loaded up. This is a minor feature that I'll even say like doesn't really count towards the 23 major ones, but if you are new to Minecraft, it gives you more beginner tips, and if you have played a bit more, it will give you slightly more advanced tips, but your mileage may vary about what exists as advanced or not. Also, when entering spectator mode, the player no longer falls through the block beneath them. This is an important one. You might not know this, but spectator mode is very, very weird. It doesn't work exactly how you might expect if you haven't used it on Java for a while, but that's cool to see. Xbox Series X/S can now support Minecraft up to a 4K resolution. This is a big deal. Microsoft always promotes their new Xbox platforms by using Minecraft, and then they never deliver on the features, so it's cool to see that they at least support 4K. I would feel like that's the minimum, but it's nice to see regardless. If you have an Xbox X/S, you can now take advantage. Also, there are Realm stories. There's also, if you play Realms, there's an improved render distance from 12 to 20 chunks, but this was done server-side, so it's not a 1.20.60 feature. So we'll bundle this all together and say the Realm Stories Hub has 3 separate screens: story feed, timeline, and members. That's pretty great. You know what else is great? A redesigned Edit World screen to match the Create World screen. Wow, what's that? Am I going to go to Settings? And wait, why is it not Edit World? Okay, this doesn't look like Edit World at all. This is, if we go out from World and then go in and edit it, it will now match the Create New World screen rather than being like this screen. This is one of the screens they need to work on, but who knows when they're going to do that. Speaking of things we don't know about, new Friends Draw added to the Play screen. That's pretty fun. Also, here's a really, really, I would say bad one, but it's not as bad as it sounds. When Minecraft added the ability for boats not to take full damage on Bedrock, there was a fear that, oh no, okay, well, here's my point. You can now take full damage when you're on a donkey, but the donkey takes it and not you. This is true for horses as well, and it's pretty fun. Is this a bonus chest? What a fun spawn this is. Anyway, this is pretty fun as a feature, and it's honestly pretty decent in terms of how little full damage a donkey will actually take. You need to go off a ridiculous height before a donkey really cares about it, and so as a result, unless you're jumping off extremely amplified cliffs, you're probably fine with your horse, which is a good change. I think it's not the best thing, but I see why they've had to do it, and so keep that in mind. You can't just jump off things with your horse anymore. You also have to keep in mind that bees are no longer damaged by sweetberry bushes. Here is a bee spawn egg, and if I'm going to spawn some around here, you'll see how even if they get caught in the sweetberry bushes, they won't care about it, which is nice if you like bees. But I don't like bees, I like experimental features, so this is hidden behind the Update 1.21 toggle, and it's basically a way for you to try out beta features that aren't fully beta yet. They will be a part of 1.21, and they're basically finished already, and so if you want to trial them out, you can, but your world will forever have the little experimental toggle, so I wouldn't recommend on a long-term survival world, but if you want to try stuff out right now, try out the trial spawner, or the breeze with its breeze spawn egg. Hey there, Mr. Farty. Nice name. But we've also got the trial key, the copper grate, the trial chambers as a whole. This is a really big one, right? But all of these features exist behind the Update 1.21 toggle if you want to play around with it. Also, they have the armadillo and the wolf armor toggle. This is not going to be coming in 1.21. I want to kind of talk about this somewhere, so I think it should be worth mentioning that the wolf armor and armadillo are not part of 1.21, even though that does seem to be the case, but instead we have enough of confirmation from developers that instead it will be part of some minor update before then, but not this minor update. Maybe not even the next minor update. So also we have the /HUD command, which allows you to show or hide different elements of the HUD. Here are what they all look like. You can turn those on or off. I would show you about them, but I'm in a trial chambers right now. There's a skeleton spawner, and I think I'm about to die because of it. So with that said, before I do die, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this update news video to be useful because, yeah, Minecraft updates are very confusing with the form and the function of how they come out, and as a result, it is hard to precisely follow, but I hope by precisely following this video, you've learned that you shouldn't go into the trial chambers because you'll die, and also about the next Minecraft update. If you want to learn more about Minecraft in general, make sure you do subscribe to this channel, this one right here, and I hope that you turn on those notifications too, because you are about to see a whole fun new wave of Toy Cat content, and I hope you're looking forward to it. Goodbye.